Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my extremely ambitious TBR for the month of October. We are in spooky season and I am so excited. I've already done a little bit of decorating and I'm hoping to get more decorating done downstairs later on this evening. But without further delay, I want to jump right into the books. What I will not be talking about are books that I am currently reading right now. And I know that they weren't mentioned last month at all. I just kind of picked them up a few days ago. One is an audiobook and one is a physical book. So I will just talk about those when I get to my wrap up. So today I went to the library and I only meant to pick up one book, but I ended up coming out with 3 books. So I'm really excited about them though. The first one is A Grim Reaper's Guide to Catching a Killer. This is by Maxi Dara. This just came out. It's brand new. And I don't know anything about this book whatsoever except what it said on the back. I tried to figure out, I know it's a mystery, but I'm not sure if it's a cozy mystery. It seems like it might be. And it's labeled as a scythe mystery. So I'm assuming it's going to be a series, but I have no idea. So I hope it is because it sounds really cool. So basically, we have this modern day Grim Reaper. It's almost like being a Grim Reaper is part of like a company. It's not just like one Grim Reaper. There's like people that work together, but they don't wear like this kind of outfit on that's displayed on the cover. Instead, they dress like regular business people. And we're following Kathy Valance. Yes, Kathy Valance. And she is a modern day Grim Reaper. She's in her early 40s and she is going through a divorce. And I believe she has recently discovered that she's pregnant. But more importantly is the fact that she is having a problem at work. So normally she's able to just collect the souls that she needs to get, no problem. And she goes to reap one of her client's souls, and his soul is already gone. She was not able to collect that soul. And that's a real problem, a mystery she needs to solve. But she does touch base with his ghost, I believe. So this is where it gets kind of complicated. So I'm not really sure how this whole thing works. But he knows that he's been murdered and she needs to help him solve his murder in order for him to move on to the other side. I'm guessing that that's what this is all about. That sounds really good. It sounds really funny and weird. And those are exactly the kind of books that I love to read. So I will let you know at the end of the month what I thought of this one because this is the one that I'm going to start with first. So the next book that I picked up at the library is called What the Hell Did I Just Read by David Wong. I know nothing about this book either. I mean, I just discovered this because I was looking up horror genres because I'm looking to expand my horizons and see what all the different subgenres of horror include. Because I typically read like feminist horror, I read a lot of possession stories, haunted house stories. Those are the things that I really enjoy. But I came across cosmic horror in my research today, and I don't know if it originated with H.P. Lovecraft, who I know this is kind of embarrassing. I have not read any H.P. Lovecraft, but also he's a problematic figure anyway, so I'm not that worried about it. But from what my understanding was of doing my research this morning, cosmic horror, yes, there can be like some supernatural elements to it, but it's really dealing with like themes of like emptiness and isolation and kind of like almost like a nihilistic feel of like, what is the point of any of this? Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's what some of the research said. And I was like, like this sounds really interesting to me. I've never read any cosmic horror. So this was one of the books that came up and I saw it was at my local library. So I went and picked it up. And all I know is that it's supposed to be funny as well. And I'll just read a little bit about this. So it says, while investigating a fairly straightforward case of shape-shifting, interdimensional child predator, Dave, John, and Amy realized there might actually be something weird going on. Together, they navigate a diabolically convoluted maze of illusions, lies, and their own incompetence in an attempt to uncover a terrible truth that they, like you, would be better off not knowing. So, yeah, I don't really know much more than that. It sounds weird. It sounds like it'll probably be creepy. So I definitely want to give this one a shot. And the final book that I picked up at the library is Incidents Around the House by Josh Mallerman. And I know that many people in the horror community have heard about this book and raved about this book. So I'm excited to read this book. It looks really cool. It's told from the perspective of a child. I think the child is about 8 years old. And this child is being followed by other mommy in the house. So other mommy wants to has something to do with their heart, like wants to be let into their heart, but not in like a like, oh, that's so sweet kind of way, like in a disturbing horror kind of way. So I don't know what kind of strange incidents are going to be taking place in this house. I don't know what's going to escalate with this other mommy, but it sounds creepy. And I like when books are told from different perspectives. I mean, I'm so used to reading either a teenage perspective in YA or an adult perspective, but I think reading from a child's perspective is going to be really interesting. So I can't wait to give it a shot. So the last three books on my October TBR are books that I actually already own. I'm super excited to read. So I really only have like 6 books total that I really want to get to in October, which for most people, especially booktubers, like 6 books isn't really a lot. But I'm a teacher and I have 2 kids of my own, so time is very limited. And if I can actually squeeze out 6 books in 1 month, I will feel like that is a huge accomplishment, especially when I'm also trying to do my own writing, but also take advantage of spooky season and go out and do all kinds of fun events. So we'll see. So the first book I want to talk about is Let the Woods Keep Our Bodies by E.M. Roy. And I picked this book up at the Spooktacular Book Festival in Massachusetts in September, and it sounds really cool. It's published by Ghoulish Books, and I have never read anything by this publisher, but I like the feel of the cover, and the cover is just really gorgeous. The colors are so vibrant on this. And this is a queer horror novel, and it's about this woman, and her name is Leo, and she has grown up in this small town in Maine. I believe it is Eston, Maine. Yes. And things are not going well at this point. Her girlfriend, Tate, is missing, and she is the prime suspect. She also has to find out like the mysterious past of her parents, because I believe that she's been living with a relative since she was about 10 years old because her parents died. And I'm not sure, but it seems like this book might also involve cryptids, which I also find very interesting. And I just like a good horror story that takes place in the woods, because woods are very creepy. So, I mean, they're beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I love a good, stroll in the woods, but not at night. That would be very creepy. So, can't wait to check this one out. So, the next book I want to talk about is The Day of the Door by Laurel Hightower. I've been just itching to get to this one, and this one was also published by Ghoulish Books. So, I'm excited to see if I really like the 2 books that were published by that publishing house, so that I can just keep on purchasing more of their books. And I have to say, like, the covers just feel like so nice. It's like a really nice texture. It's just a weird sensory thing, but I really like it. So, in this book, where does it begin? So it begins on the day of the door, which is set in the past. So there are 4 siblings, and they're with their mother one day. And I believe it's the oldest child that gets pulled behind the door. He's in trouble with the mother for some reason. And it's either the oldest child or the youngest child, but I think it's the oldest. And he gets pulled behind this door, and basically he doesn't come out alive, and the door was closed, so his siblings, which I believe are one brother and 2 sisters, don't really know what actually happened to him. They suspect that their mother did it. She was very abusive, but she has always maintained that it wasn't her and that the house was haunted. And from my understanding, she was never charged with his murder, so the death is kind of this mysterious death. But years later, so now we're in present day, and the mother is trying to prove her innocence. She's bringing a bunch of paranormal investigators to the house to prove that the house is actually haunted. And her kids are all very different personalities. So I think that they're all kind of dealing with this death and trying to figure out their relationship with their mother all very differently. So I know that this one is dealing with like issues of child abuse and just other horrible things. So we'll see how this one goes. It sounds like it's a psychological horror as well. Hard to tell if this is going to actually turn out to be supernatural or not, but I can't wait to find out. And last but not least, I want to talk about The Curse of the Reaper by Brian Macaulay. And this book sounds super cool. So, this is like a slasher type of horror book. And it's about a former 80s actor, and he played a main villain in this series of slasher movies. And now his career has kind of dried up. He signs autographs at conventions and things like that, but he has not been invited back to be in the next movie. So instead, he's been replaced by this younger man, and this man is fresh out of rehab, and I don't know what happens after that. So I can't really tell if this is supernatural or not, or, who the killer is at this point. I'm not really sure what's going to happen here, but it sounds really interesting. I am curious to read about this one because it does deal with the topic of addiction, and that's just a topic that's meaningful to me because I have a family member who suffers from addiction. So I tend to actually enjoy reading horror or thrillers that engage with that idea because I have a lot of feelings about that, and I like to just see how other people handle that topic. I also like when it's dealt with appropriately, carefully, and not being disrespectful to people who suffer from addictions, and when they kind of discuss it through metaphor as well. So I'm not sure how this book is going to handle that topic. I'm curious to find out how he handles this in this book, and I will report back to you when I finish it. So those are the 6 books that I am planning on reading. I will not be starting them until I finish the other book that I'm currently reading that will remain secret until we get to the end of the month, but I'm really enjoying that one so far. And yeah, I will see you all again really soon. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. It would mean so much to me. And I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.